Hello there my RPG lovers and welcome to another video. Forsaken Realms Vahrin's Call is an upcoming story-driven action RPG. I covered this game a couple of times on the channel before and now I feel like it's a great time to talk about it again. Titan Rock, the studio behind the game, is posting regular updates on their official Twitter accounts and I've been following the development for quite some time now. I have a couple of personal reasons why I'm really excited to play Vahrin's Call, and since 2023 is just around the corner, I wanted to remind ourselves about this game. Anyway, we're going to take a deep dive into all the available info about Vahrin's Call and all the updates right after I tell you about the sponsor of this video. Yahaha Studio is a brand new user-generated content creation platform for 3D multiplayer interactive experience. This platform allows you to easily create virtual experiences, and the best part about it, you don't even need any coding experience or server knowledge. You can simply use one of the available templates, components and smart assets in Yahaha Studio to make your dream game. Yahaha hosts regular live sessions for the community to help creators enhance their metaverse building skills. You can follow Yahaha on Twitch or check out the previous sessions on YouTube. I'm going to quickly show you how easy it is to use some of the cool features that you can find in Yahaha Studio. For example, if you want to make a little horror game, you can easily find an appropriate template for that. This creepy hospital will do the trick. Now we can grab a couple of monsters to place behind the corner. You can easily search the asset library and you'll probably be able to find whatever comes to your minds. I chose a couple of random monsters and I just added some simple behaviors. Then we go to the play mode and we can see what we just did. My monsters are trying to kill me already, it's that simple. But of course you can be way more creative than me, so download Yahaha Studio for free by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR codes. Begin your exciting journey as a game developer today. First of all, let's start with the visuals. Vahrin's Call looks like it has a great immersive atmosphere, which is really important for a story-driven RPG. If you ask me, the sheer graphical fidelity is not enough for creating an immersive environment, which is fun to explore. That's where the artistic style of the game comes into play. This game has a highly stylized look with a very vibrant color palette. The main word I would use to describe how this game looks is cozy. For example, the starting area called Vahrin Forest has a very lush vegetation, which gives the game a nice high fantasy feeling. But then you have other areas that have quite different feel to them, like the snowy mountains. We can see a couple of more interesting areas that we'll be able to explore in the game. And speaking about exploration, they described it as a semi-open world game. We'll be able to unlock more areas by pushing the story forward. Another major reason why I think the game looks, or actually sounds cozy, is obviously the soundtrack. Having a good sound design is essential if you want to make an immersive environment in an RPG. That could be the environmental sound effects or the actual soundtracks, like in this particular case. Titan Rock seems to understand this perfectly well. The background music that you can hear is one of the original soundtracks from the game, and you can hear a couple of more OSTs that will be featured in the full game. That being said, Vahrin's Call is giving me some major Outward vibes. If by some chance you subscribe to my channel all the way back in 2019, you know how much I love that game. While Vahrin's Call is looking very similar to Outward in a couple of areas, or at least it has similar vibes if you ask me. That was actually the first thing that came to my mind when I first saw the game. However, Outward was not so heavy on the storytelling, which brings us to the story and the setting of Vahrin's Call. This game is set in a fantasy world called Leda, and you're going to play as a mercenary who is providing his services to the city of Vahrin. The Craic Swarm invaded the great city of Vahrin. The combined order of humankind rallied the armies of the free cities and marched to their aid. For many turns, King Aldo Simi led their armies into the depths, intent of driving the attackers back into the darkness from whence they came. But victory was to be short-lived, for as the Craics were defeated, in their place rose a far greater threat. The armies of the free cities were left decimated. Abandoning Vahrin to its fate, they fled home to their own lands. Now only the most stalwart defenders remain, fighting desperately to reclaim their beloved city. That's pretty much everything we know about the main story. The world map in Vahrin's Call will open up more as you progress through the main story of the game. We'll usually have to fight a boss in order to unlock the next area of the game. I would definitely like to see some boss fights in these gameplay videos, or at least a couple of short clips. Although they're trying to keep the spoilers at minimum because it's a story-driven RPG, and I guess some bosses are probably major characters from the story. Now, I'm pretty sure that a lot of RPG fans who look forward to play this game will appreciate a very in-depth character creation system. In one of the devlogs on their official YouTube channel, we could see a very detailed character creation system with many options at your disposal. And the character models look pretty decent, especially for an indie RPG by a small development team. Unfortunately, the game won't be fully voice acted, which is definitely a little bit disappointing. But that's certainly understandable because voice acting is really expensive, especially for a small indie team. Now let's talk about the gameplay. There has been a lot of interesting gameplay updates in recent months on Titan's Rock official Twitter account. First of all, the combat in Vahrin's Call seems pretty decent for a game of this type. It basically has all the mechanics that you would expect to see in a modern action RPG. The way the game controls can make or break the combat, but we obviously don't know how it feels, so we can only speculate. Most melee attacks that we can see in these clips are well telegraphed, and the hitboxes on enemies look okay, as we can see from this little clip. Speaking of melee combat, you'll be able to switch between two different weapons. We can see some clips with a couple of melee abilities like the spin to win move. Nowadays, it seems like this is the essential ability for action RPGs of all types, and I'm not complaining. Another pretty cool ability for melee combat is the shield slam. Although I'm pretty sure I won't be playing the game with a shield, or at least not on my first playthrough. Luckily for me, I saw a ton of footage where the player is using the plethora of different two-handed weapons. What can I say, I'm a sucker for two-handed swords. Anyway, Vahrin's Call has standard action mechanics like being able to dodge, parry, and block attacks. We don't know anything about the difficulty of the game, which will play a major role in how the gameplay feels in general. When it comes to other playstyles, we have ranged combat and magic. We have some new and a lot of older clips where we can see magic spells in the game. Same goes for the bow and arrow gameplay. In one of these clips, we can see that we'll be able to use different arrow types. I like the overall speed of the combat. It's not very fast and flashy, but it's also far from being slow and sluggish. It doesn't seem slow and unresponsive, especially in this clip where the player is switching between melee and ranged abilities. That being said, I would like to see some boss fight footage, although Titan Rock is trying their best to not spoil anything major. Like I said, Vahrin's Call is a story-driven RPG, so this makes sense, but I would really want to see some actual boss fights. As for some other gameplay features, this game has everything that you would expect to see in an RPG. Many armor pieces and weapons to loot, crafting, multiple dialogue options, and so on. The UI is really nice, with a clean 3D character preview. I always like to see character previews in menus, there is something oddly satisfying about that. I'm really happy to say that Vahrin's Call won't be in early access like most indie RPGs on Steam. It will release as a full game, and they also plan to include a free demo, which is always great to hear. We're not exactly sure when the game is coming out. The release date on Steam is just coming soon, and it's been like that for almost a year now. But if I would have to guess, it's probably going to come out near the end of 2023, or maybe even later than that. We can only speculate, but judging by how the game looks in the updates, I wouldn't be surprised to see it coming a lot sooner than that. So 2023 release date looks plausible. Be sure to follow the channel if you're interested in this game, because I'll cover it with a review and possibly another video. Anyway guys, tell me what you think about Vahrin's Call in the comments below. Will you try it out, or maybe wait for my review before you buy it? Let me know. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more RPG contents. If you want to go a step further, you can become a Patreon or a YouTube member. Even the smallest support means a lot. That will be all, and I'll see you in the next one.